Your team is busy. Deadlines are tight. Everyone is working hard. But be honest. Is anything actually improving? From the outside, you look like a high-performance machine. But deep down, you feel it. Nothing is actually improving. The same mistakes return. The same debates repeat. The same problems you thought you fixed last month are back on your desk. If this sounds familiar, you are caught in the speed trap. Most teams believe one simple thing: moving faster means making progress. We celebrate the hustle. We reward the fast movers. But what if this obsession with speed is the very thing slowing you down? Today, we are going to look at why the world's most successful leaders choose to slow down in order to win. We'll explore the hidden math of technical debt in leadership, the Toyota secret that changed manufacturing, and a three-step framework to build real velocity. By the end of this video, you will understand why the fastest way to the top is often the path that looks the slowest. To understand why fast is often expensive, we need to look at the mathematics of quality. In systems engineering, there is a principle called the 110-100 rule. It's a simple way to visualize the cost of rushing. Imagine you are designing a new product. If you catch a mistake at the very beginning, during the thinking and design phase, it costs you $1 to fix. It's just a change on a whiteboard. However, if you don't catch that mistake until the execution or production phase, it now costs you $10 to fix. You have to scrap materials and redo work. But here's the scary part. If you ship that mistake to the customer and have to fix it later in the real world, it costs you $100 or more. You face recalls, loss of reputation, and massive support costs. When a leader says, "We don't have time to slow down and reflect," what they are actually saying is, "I would rather pay $100 later than $1 now." That isn't efficiency. That is bad debt. Most managers today are not leading. They are simply managing the debt created by moving too fast without thinking. If this sounds familiar, you are caught in the speed trap. This is the speed trap. This is the hidden slowdown. Every time you rush a decision, you are taking out a high-interest loan that your future self will have to pay back. Let's look at this in action with a common scenario. The feature factory. Imagine a software team. They are fast. They ship 10 new features every single month. The management is happy. The dashboards are green. They feel like they are winning. But 6 months later, their progress grinds to a halt. Why? Because in their rush to ship, they skipped the documentation. They ignored small bugs. They didn't stop to ask why users were dropping off. Now the system is so complex and broken that 80% of their time is spent fixing what they fast-tracked yesterday. They are no longer moving fast. They are just running in place to stay upright. This is technical debt in leadership form. Speed without learning creates friction. Friction creates rework. And rework is the ultimate silent killer of momentum. If your team is working harder but producing less, you are likely in a feature factory. You've prioritized outputs over outcomes. You've mistaken being busy for being productive. 5 to 6:45, TTAR. Section 4, the Toyota secret, the Andon cord. To find a better way, we have to look at the Toyota production system. They have a concept called Jidoka, or automation with a human touch. In most factories in the 20th century, the golden rule was, don't stop the line. If a worker saw a mistake, they were told to keep going and fix it later. They thought this was the only way to be fast. Toyota did the exact opposite. They gave every single worker, from the most senior engineer to the newest hire, the power and the obligation to pull the Andon cord. Pulling this cord stops the entire assembly line immediately. To an outsider, this looks incredibly slow. The machines stop. The lights flash. Engineers gather around the problem. Production pauses for minutes or even hours. But here's what really happens. Because they stop to find the root cause early, they fix the problem permanently. They don't just fix the defect, they fix the system that caused the defect. By slowing down in the moment, they eliminated the need to fix errors later. This is why Toyota achieved a long-term velocity that Western competitors couldn't touch for decades. This is not about manufacturing. This is about any team that builds something under uncertainty. The lesson for you as a leader: if you don't have the courage to stop the line when something isn't working, you aren't being efficient. You are just compounding mistakes at a higher speed. Speed is a scalar. It's just how fast you're moving. You can have high speed while moving in. In physics, there is a vital distinction we often forget in the business world. Speed is not the same as velocity. Speed is a scalar. It's just how fast you're moving. You can have high speed while moving in a circle. Velocity is a vector. It's speed with a specific direction. Most busy teams have high speed but zero velocity. They are exhausted, stressed, and moving at 100 miles per hour, but they aren't actually getting closer to the goal. Real progress requires what I call structural velocity. This comes from tightly connecting two questions. What did we try? Action. What did we learn? Reflection. When these two questions drift apart, velocity disappears. If you act without reflecting, you lose your direction. If you reflect without acting, you lose your speed. Real speed is not about how fast you can type or how many meetings you can attend. Real speed is about how quickly you can complete the learning loop. Your team is busy, so how do you fix this starting tomorrow? You need to practice strategic patience. This is the ability to resist the social pressure of looking busy so you can focus on being right. When your competitors are sprinting toward a cliff, you don't need to run faster. You need to stop and look at the map. Here is a 3-step framework to build real velocity in your team. 1. The pre-mortem. Before you start a fast project, gather the team and ask, imagine it is 3 months from now and this has failed. Why did it happen? This reveals the hidden friction before you spend a single dollar. 2. The micro-reflection. Don't wait for quarterly reviews. At the end of every week, ask your team, what is one thing we did this week that we should never do again? If your team cannot answer this honestly, you don't have a speed problem. You have a trust problem. You don't have a speed problem. You have a trust problem. 3. Institutional memory learning isn't real unless it changes the next action. If your insights don't update your SOPs, your roadmaps, or your standards, you haven't learned. You've just observed. Learning is only valuable when it is encoded into your team structure. Moving fast is not the same as getting better. The companies that dominate their industries for decades don't push their people to work harder. They design structures that allow them to learn faster. Speed is not urgency. Speed is structure. If your team feels stuck, don't push them harder. Don't add more meetings. Don't demand more output. Instead, pull the end-on cord. Look at your feedback loops. Shorten the distance between action and learning, because in the long run, the team that learns the fastest will always outperform the team that just moves the fastest. That is how real velocity is built. So I leave you with one question to take back to your team tomorrow. What will we stop today so we can finally go faster tomorrow? What will we stop today so we can finally go faster tomorrow? Thank you for watching.